And now, live from the Ford Studios in downtown Canton, here is your host for the Cleveland Sports Report, Nick Brolis. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cleveland Sports Report. We are your TV home for Cleveland Indians baseball, your cable home for Browns football, and your sister station for the Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. And thank God they showed some fight, some grit, and they actually looked like they wanted to win tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. Hello, I'm Nick Brolis, and thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. And this is going to be strictly dedicated to the Cavs tonight, as I really don't want to talk anything about the Browns. I mean, of course, I know we got spring training with the Indians coming up, but this is specifically about the Cavs tonight. So, obviously, I want you guys to get on the show tonight. Please, the phone number is 330-555-2821. And don't forget to tweet at me, at mbrolis, and nickbrolis8404 at yahoo.com is your email to get a hold of me. Now, of course, the Cavs had a game tonight against the Grizzlies here at home, and it was really, as I watched this game, the first quarter, I was texting back and forth with a couple friends in the media, and I told them, and granted this is a bad attitude, you're probably going to hate me for this, but I can't help but when I was texting back and forth with them, I was saying, well, it's only a matter of time before the Cavs give this lead up. It's only a matter of time before they come back out on the floor and they show like they have just absolutely no interest in being in this game. Never happened. To my surprise, it never happened. Kyrie actually looked like he wanted to be a point guard for the Cavs tonight. Waiters actually looked like he was interested in the game tonight. And you know, I'm looking at these stats here, and it's I got down Kyrie with 28 and Dion with 18. But for me, as I've been telling you guys this whole time, especially the past 5 or 6 games, these guys do not look like they want to play anymore. They don't look like they want to be here anymore, especially Waiters and Irving. But tonight in the game, they actually looked like they wanted to play together on the court. There was a couple of times where it looked like, oh, well, you know, here we go again. But for the most part, I was very satisfied with how they were playing. There was a couple instances where I kept on saying, well, great, here we go. We're dribbling the ball a little too much. Dribbling the ball a little too much. Trying to do one-on-one too much. That's when they ran into their problems. What I can't understand, as I'm watching this game, I can't understand why they have not figured this out yet. Irving, you've been playing in the league for 3 years now. It's time you figured out that you really need to get your players around you more involved. Stop trying to go one-on-one so much. And it drives me absolutely nuts when, and this is not just Irving, it drives me absolutely nuts when you got Waiters or Irving, and it's generally just those two guys because they handle the ball the most when they're on the floor. It drives me nuts when they just stand up at the top of the key right before the quarter is about to end. Please, do something with the ball. Run a play. If you miss it, at least you give yourself a chance to get a close shot, you know, something along those lines. So, I'm not going to get too far into the details of the game, but they actually showed like they wanted to be out there this time. That's what I was happy with. Now, it's been a couple days since we've had the show, and as all of you should know by now, Chris Grant, the now former GM of the Cavs, fired just the other day. And for me, this comes to no surprise, and to you guys it shouldn't come to a surprise. He has drafted over the past couple of years, and they haven't, Kyrie Irving was an expected draft pick for the most part. He had Derek Williams in there, but Kyrie was the expected draft pick in that draft. Then, nobody's seen them going after Waiters, at least not to my knowledge. Thompson, I didn't see that one coming, and I didn't see the Zeller pick coming. So, you know, I was talking to my buddy Dave, who covers the NBA just in general, and for I think it's a BleacherReport.com is who he covers with it right now. And I was talking to him about some of the trades and whatnot, and when I asked him, do you think that this team should trade Irving and Waiters? And he told me yes, because they don't want to be here. But the problem is that, and I brought this up to him, I told him the problem that I have with this. You have your NBA schedule filler, so to speak. You got the teams that just, more times than not, they're not going to cut it. Regardless of how often that they draft high in the draft, it doesn't matter. You know, your Milwaukee's, Cleveland's, teams like that are just never going to get it. Even if they do draft good players and they don't feel like the team's going in the right direction after a couple years, they want to leave. Granted, I know nobody wants to lose. And when you see that your front office is continuously not putting the right parts around you, it frustrates you. I get all that. But at the same time, when you have these players that continue to come in and they don't want to play in that city, for whatever reason it may be, that's when you gotta, that's for me personally when I get frustrated and say, why even bother having basketball teams in those cities when the NBA has made it to where it's only your major market teams, so to speak, your Chicago's, your New York's, Clippers. Sad to say, but the Clippers are not in that talk because they're the second team to LA. This is the first time the Clippers have been this consistently good in a long time. So, and now, for right now, you've got Miami because they've got their big three. But if you think about it, there's only so many teams that are in the league right now with their market the size of the way it is that can manage to keep these players there because of the size of the market and so on. So, obviously, I want your opinion on all that, what I just said to you. 330-555-2821. Obviously, tweet at me at mbrolis and nickbrolis8404 at yahoo.com. Now, the other thing that I brought up to Dave was the issue with Mike Brown. We all knew, due to his first stint with the Cavaliers, that he is not an offensive-minded coach. He's terrible at offensive play calling. And he used to have an offensive coordinator, so to speak, and now he doesn't. And what really bugs me is that I know he has 2 or 3 assistants that are that they do well on the offensive side of the ball specifically. So why aren't they helping him out when it comes to that? I don't know. But see, his calling card is obviously the defense. That's why they gave Byron Scott the boot and brought Mike Brown back, because that's his calling card. That's what he's known for, is his defense. Yet we're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. I don't understand that. I really don't. Yeah, I mean, tonight they played good on defense. But I think it's because they seen their shots falling and that motivated them to say, you know, if we continue to shoot this well and we play better on defense, we're going to have a chance to really put this team away. Problem is, these players, for some odd reason, still have not grasped the fact that your defense can always be there. That's the one constant in basketball that you can depend on. I can't understand for the life of me why they have not figured this out. And it's not just the Cavs. It's so many of these other teams in the league. You would think that they would figure this out, which is why I have said to people so many times, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me on this, if they didn't have these God-given abilities to play and be so athletic and so good at this sport, do you really think that they'd be able to make it in the real world on a normal job? That's another day. That's another subject for another day. I understand that, but it's a food for thought. And it for me, bringing Mike Brown back, I don't agree with the decision. He is a basketball guy, but we need to be able to score more points. At the same time, in terms of sticking up for Mike Brown and for all these other coaches and owners for that matter, you are at this level, you are getting paid a ton of money. You are very wealthy. That paycheck alone should be motivation enough for you to get your butt out there and play your heart out every single game. And I realize you're probably not going to play well, especially the way these athletes are trained these days, are not going to play well for teams that are just terrible. I understand that. But if you gave me anywhere between $8 and $20-some million, you're darn right I'm not going to need a motivational speech from my coach. I'm not going to need this the circus type entrance that these players have with the player intros to get myself ready to go for the game. Get hyped up, as they like to say. I don't need all that. Just announce my name and let's go play the game. Again, I know I'm branching off, but that's just how I feel. With that being said, I'm glad the Cavaliers were able to beat a very good Memphis Grizzlies team tonight. Now, next Tuesday is their game when they welcome the Sacramento Kings into town. That is a game to where they should have a lot of incentive to absolutely crush the Kings, because that's been their worst defeat all season long. And this is going to take me back to the Lakers game just the other night. The Cavs got annihilated by the Kings out in Sacramento on that West Coast trip. Annihilated. So that right there should say, you guys killed us in our gym, in your gym. Let's see how things go here in Cleveland. So I'm looking forward to see how the Cavs react to this game on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock tip-off over on our sister station, Fox Sports. Now, getting back to the game against the Lakers. Undermanned, very injured. How do you lose a game like that? And this is going to go back to the whole looking like you wanted to play. The fact of, do I really want to be here? And this is why when I've been asked by many people in the media that I'm friends with, what do you think the Cavs should do? And would I be surprised come February 20th when the trade deadline hits if 3 or 4 of the players are gone for the Cavs? Absolutely not. No way. I would not be surprised in the least bit. Again, but that goes back to my whole issue that I just talked to you guys about, that, you know, even if we were to trade these players away and get draft picks, we're going to draft some more guys, then they're going to get tired of playing on a team that consistently loses, because we would be too young of a team then, and Lord knows we can't find the right type of leadership to get to trade for on this team, and they're going to want to leave. And it's a continuous cycle. It's a continuous cycle. So getting back to the trade talk after the Lakers game that I was talking about, is I'm not quite sure who you would want to get as a partner to trade Kyrie or Trey Waiters for. And another thing that I just remembered that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the players that I think really strongly bring it on a nightly basis, regardless of the record and regardless of the team that they're playing. I think Thompson plays his heart out for the most part, but he's still trying to improve. I like Zeller when he plays and he gets his minutes. Dellavedova, I really think he plays hard, and I see Miles play pretty hard. So those are the players that are off the top of my head that I think really bring it on a nightly basis. Anthony Bennett, he tries, but again, he still looks like he's lost out there, although he has improved over the last 4 or 5 games. So with that being said, I am very open to trading any players on this team, but again, I continue to go back. My problem with that is this is a continuous rebuilding cycle for the Cavs and a couple other teams. Eventually, you've got to figure out a way to win and keep these players and allow them to see that, you know, this front office does know what it's doing. I'm gonna stick around and I'm gonna see what this team can do if I can continue to get better and we can continue to bring in parts that I'm gonna play well with. So again, this is a night here on Cleveland Sports Report where I just want to talk about the Cavs. On tomorrow's show, we'll get started talking more about spring training and whatnot, but this is a Cavs show only. So again, but the phone number to reach the Cleveland Sports Report here is 330-555-2821. Twitter followers, @NBrolis. Please feel free to email me as well, nickbrolis8404 @yahoo.com. We'll get started right after the break.